Route 109. Oh, the sky, the clouds look so good in the camera. You know, and my eyes aren't picking up the ridges, just a little maybe, but you know, I want to touch it up so it looks even nicer. But this is the way to New York, just north in particular, you know. But you can take this way to Pulaski Skyway, terminal for Newark Airport right there. That big building right there on the right-hand side. I guess it'll come up visibly. Yeah, I just in the reality in the eye, it's just so much closer. You know, the camera picks it up a little bit differently. But yeah, this is the way I would enter. The highway here from Amtech. You know, the beer distributor company. This is the Newark Liberty International Airport, Newark Airport, we just call it. That terminal wasn't there when I was working there. And there's Budweiser. To the left behind it, you know, there's Mount Olivet. I used to work there in 2002 to 2003. So it's like, you know, in like a mile area, I had some controversial jobs, dirty jobs that most people wouldn't want to do, nonetheless. But yeah, this highway, oh, actually, you know what, I misspoke. I would enter it right here. Except people would think you go through the airport, you're not. That's the entrance from Dowd Avenue. Or was it right there, actually? Right there. And it sucks sometimes, especially when you drive one of these trucks, because, like, you know, you couldn't see too well, and, you know, you couldn't get the right amount of speed. You know, you couldn't accelerate, especially when you had a full truck. It was just a pain in the ass, and you had to get over on this thing right here, which after I figured it out, you know, it wasn't too bad. I don't think ever, like, I had to, you know, go over here to 78 and Haynes Avenue, so it was mostly all right, but it was kind of challenging, especially in the beginning. You would get nervous, you know, especially when it's a company truck. You know, you don't want to get in an accident. You know, that's the last thing you want to do. You get nervous. You don't want to take a wrong turn. You get annoyed, frustrated. But after all, you figure out it's nothing, you know. And yeah, in the beginning, I would take Route 21 just because of the wind, crosswind on you know, the turnpike. And, you know, the truck I would drive, all of them actually, they would feel it. But the one I drove forward in the beginning, you know, it wasn't too heavy, so like it would just sway left and right. And it was just such a discomfort, you know. I was just so annoyed and frustrated. So I would take Route 21. And it was just so much easier. But like, there was lights, but I get to drink my coffee, smoke my cigarette, you know, I will always review my GPS sometimes, like the stores, you know, where to exit. But it was just like, you know, I never really listened too much in the radio. I never liked to listen to radio and music or anything like that. I just a nice quiet ride. If I was with someone, like, you know, we would converse, or maybe not. But it's a 21 North right here. You know, this is the route I would take. It takes you all the way through Newark. So it was always clean over here. A lot of times, even in the daytime going north, it would get jammed. It would get packed. You know, Janusz over there, Kwiatkowski, he would always, he'd take his car, and with the truck, you had to get on 21. You couldn't get off and like go on Broad Street, you know, to get away from the traffic. You know, there was no trucks. It says here, Broad Street, no trucks. Let me just zoom that in. You know, so you couldn't do that. But he would always say, he would go to Broad Street and save a couple minutes. I was like, yeah, you know, why don't you just pay for the turnpike? Except that the debacle is, like, for that short 50 or 60 miles, whatever it is, to go where he goes, you gotta pay like either $4 or $5, you know. And people figured out that so many people commute there, they could charge that, and it's still like worth it to save, like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, depending, because the turnpike will get jam-packed as well. It's just that, you know, it wasn't as annoying as all these lights, you know. And a lot of times I would drive it. It's like, you know, you make it out as long as you pass. Let me see, what is it? Not just the PAC Center, but I believe it's that college, the university, Cedar Hall. You know, you get past those buildings, and it'll get a lot easier. And actually, the last light, you just go and it's clear, even in the afternoon. So it was, unless it was an accident. So it's like, you know, it wasn't too bad. I always loved the art here, especially this. This is pretty cool. It's like, you know, little girl dresses, very feminine. All this artwork, you know, I always like looking at this, checking this out. We have some feathers here. it is just pretty, it's pretty mellow. It's like people took a lot. It wasn't just one artist, it was several artists, and they took their time, you know, to actually put these on the wall. There's train tracks right there. Oh, I'm not gonna be allowed in. I gotta squeeze in. Yeah, look at the colors. It's just so beautiful. This is just as gorgeous. I love this. And I didn't drive it just for this, but it does add a little bit of taste and flavor, you know, to the highway. It could be cleaned up. You could do so many things with that. Plant some, you know, bushes, even for like, you know, surviving the winter. You know, it'd be much nicer. But you could put like something to like so people could walk around, just hang out over here. Even I would put pine trees over here. I always meet with the pine trees to get rid of the noise reduction. There's the train trucks on top. A lot of times I found trucks over here and they're just ride really slow, right? Because it just fits like a lot of 18-wheelers. So it's just nerve-wracking, you know. But eventually you figure out that you can. It's like 12.3 or 12.4, 12.6, I believe. So they just make it, and it's just like it's just so freaky, you know. It's a nerve wreck, but it's so tight as well. That's to the right is Ironbound. There used to be the Portuguese section. I feel like a lot of Brazilians and Latinos moved in there. So the neighborhood's changing. It is well upkept even now. There's a lot of warehouses there, you know. I remember in the late 90s we went there. It was like a party raid. We didn't get in, they won't let us in, but I was like, wow, all these warehouses, man. That's that, I don't know, taxes going up, all these businesses just leaving New Jersey, you know. Not so much about production, which it is as well, but also jobs or just production and making things, you know, affordable, you know, to a certain extent. It's that, you know, it's a form of capitalism, you know. People overcharge and everybody wants to save on production, manufacturing, this and that. And certain people benefit. A lot of people, you know, they don't make the right amount of wages. The one of the prime example was this guy I used to work with here at Amtech is Andrzej Jelinski. He worked at the cookie factory, you know, and he used to brag about he used to live 80-pound bags, but he was talking about this inefficiency of the workers there once in a while. But at the same time, you know, he's with that money, he did catering as well. Like he was a worker. That's what he said, and you know, he bought a 2-family house. Actually, it's a 1-family, but he renovated the basement. You know, it's like, and he's in Elizabeth, on the board of Elizabeth and Linden. You know, he does okay. You know, he does all right for himself. But it's not so much about him. It's just about all this space, warehouses, you know, and just producing, manufacturing. You can have people making, you know, right now maybe 20, 30, maybe even more dollars an hour. You know, and also, you know, you could set up a workforce that, you know, a good workforce. Now you're overly exhausted, but you know, you have some vacations. I think he worked like 4 days a week or something like that. Then he had like 12-hour shifts. He was getting overtime. He was making so much money off the overtime. Except that wasn't at the cookie factory, was somewhere else. I think he worked with like popcorn and like, you know, other baked goods, something like that. You know, and he always used to go in there like he wanted production jobs because that's where the money was, and you know, he just stayed with it. But there's a Prudential Center in Newark, Prudential Building, Prudential Center. Yeah, this is Route 21 right here. This is beautiful as well. I think that's, you know, just people's faces. You know, I didn't go into detail looking them up. This parking lot failed. It could have been so much better. And this is, you know, this is Newark. You know, all these buildings. It looks nice and clean. Just, you know, I just feel like, you know, it's not just so much about Newark, but there's so many places, even New Jersey, Central Jersey. You know, there's so much space. And, you know, to build like an Amazon warehouse, well, you employ hundreds or thousands of people actually, right? And Amazon is one of the biggest companies like in the world, I believe, you know? But it's like, you know, you sacrifice, people make 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 dollars an hour. They're overly stressed, and it's like, you know, you just get by. Sorry, buddy, I quit cigarettes. I can't give you anything. I always give these guys like 2 cigarettes, you know? It's like, if they buy loose cigarettes, like, usually they charge like, it used to be 50 cents, I think it's $1 some places. So, you know, if they smoke, they could just, you know, it comes down to like, you know, meager 50 or 75 cents for me or something like that. You know, it's like 50 cents for me for 2 cigarettes. So, and he feels like he saved $2 if he calculates that. So, It's just it's a matter of, you know, saving somebody a lot of money. But and I came back. I had a random story. I came back from Brooklyn the first time in Newark. Actually, I went to get these a tool set from this guy. I bought it for like $20. I found candles, this and that, but I'm walking around. They had these scooters like I had in New York, which is a rental. Oh, there they are, and you know they're pretty much electric, you know, and it's so cool. You rent them and you can just get by. I thought, I was like, wow, even in New Jersey they have that. Like I wasn't aware of that. It was mostly New York, and there's all these different companies, you know, but it's like, you know, I found them just laying everywhere, and they weren't too damaged. Like in New York, people would damage the scooters like you wouldn't believe. You know, I started recording. I started, you know, I think I relayed a message to the company. I was like, this is what you people do with them. You know, they just store them around. And like I had to start picking them up. It was like every once in a while I found one just laying around. People just store them around. You know, and they were just damaged, and not too much damage. Like they probably work, but they were just like scratched and all that. It's like, you know, you gotta have some respect. But it's like, you're not gonna respect that. What else you're not gonna respect? You know, what's the point? What's the point of, you know? I don't give up, but it's like that's why, you know, you see a lot of things in the world. It's very indicative, you know, and people just are negligent towards it. And then, you know, insurance probably goes up or something like that. Who knows, right? Because it's all correlated, it's all connected to one another. You know, you shouldn't even come to that level. You know, I would just say, you know, we have you on record, you did this and that. You're not allowed to even, you know, use our scooters or mopeds for our company. There's the New Jersey Pack, NJ Pack. More buildings. That one looks ancient. Looks very old, but you know, that looks brand new. It looks like a residential, right there. And yeah, that's Harrison, I believe. I kind of like Harrison. Harrison, Kearney, North Arlington. I'm going to Lyndhurst today. Love the drawbridge. But you know, it's just like, it's just so quiet over there. There's like no traffic. I used to like going there. It was just such a peaceful, chillful time. That was one of my favorite routes, especially over here. And then I would go up north to, like, you know, Clifton, Elmwood Park, Garfield, whatever. And it was all right. The most annoying days when I had to go north and I had to go all the way to West Jersey. I know we would get done like 6, 7, 8 o'clock. It was just like, oh, it was just such a long day. And then you get to the first store and they argue with some stuff, and you got to move stuff around. You got to take stuff, and it just became. There was one store here. Oh, they were the worst. I just get in there, get it done. And it was just a lot of times like this guy here, Marius Riz. He started working the first day. We go in there, and it was an Hindu guy. He had his, you know, he had his ways, but they never gave me any trouble. They just like, they wanted you to pick stuff up and rotate. I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't want you to do it. It's like, you know, in those 300 cases, like, I'll do it. It's not a problem. You know, it's like, you know, it's supposed to. It's a labor. I'm the laborer. You're, you know, either manager, supervisor, or you're just a clerk in there. You're not supposed to do this. I understood that. This kid Mario's over there, Red's over there. You know, Mario, DJ Mario, we used to call him. You know, he gets in there. He just said, I'm not gonna rotate. I'm not gonna pick him. He told me, I'm like, yes, and yeah, you have to do it. And this guy Stefan like defended him or something like that. Why are you telling him that? Let him do it. I'm like, why don't you go be a hard ass and go in there and tell the fucking employee you're not gonna do it, Stefan? You're like a little whiny bitch. You're too old for this. Don't do this fucking job. We had like 200 some cases. It was 3 of us. Now one of them wants to pick up or rotate the beer. They would always complain. It was like, you know, it was like so annoying. And it's not an excuse why I'm too old. Well, then, you know, don't do this job. You know, we're the laborers. We work for a beer straight company. You take the beer out, you rotate it, and people were just saying that, you know, before it wasn't like that. The stores had to do that. Maybe the people that worked at the store. But it's like, I mean, aren't you like, I don't know, don't you just want to just move stuff around, get it done? You know, it's like, even if I was by myself, that's why a lot of times I wanted to be drive by myself. Like, I'll rotate it, this and that, give me a truck, whatever time I finish, just get these people away from me so they don't complain, so they don't get me aggravated about doing a couple of cases. It was only like 3 or 4 cases he had to take out. He had to bend down, take out, pull out, and put the ones with the new dates in the back, and put the old dates in the front. Now, it wasn't old dates like it was already expired. It just that was off by a month or 2. So, you know, they wanted to sell those first, so it would go in the right rotation. And then I'm trying to explain it to him. This other idiot just gets in the way and just starts getting mad at me about why would I tell him Marius to do that? Why did I tell him, or why did I tell the guy, you know, do you want us to rotate to begin with? Like, you know, maybe he didn't check it. I check it every time. You know, it just like, you know, let's just say he don't sell it. Let's just say he can't sell it because it's expired. Now I gotta tell you, it's a loss for company. We're not gonna go there on purpose. We'll go there when we have deliveries. The point is, it's a loss for company. It's an inefficiency. You know, just because you don't want to bend down and just want to pull 3 cases that are like 15 or 20 pounds, not even. You know, it's just so minuscule, and it's another form of inefficiency. You know, it's laziness. That's what it was. It was just absolute laziness. They were both lazy, and it's just, you know, I didn't want to be around lazy people. You know, so it became this point where it's like, you know, you say him this and that, but it's like I don't know if I called him lazy. I just, you know, it's your first day, bro. It's like, you know, Mario over there started making these eyes like he was crazy, like he was angry. I'm like, well, what do you think this is gonna be, man? You gonna just drive and just, you know, stand there? I mean, eventually that's what he wanted to do, but it's like, if that's what you do, that's what you do. You know, I'm the driver. You come off as a helper the first day. I joked around that I finished off helping, but I was kidding. But it's like listen, I was told to, you know, train you, and it's like, you know, you gotta rotate this stuff. And he didn't want to do it, and the guy was like, I don't want him in this store. If he's not gonna do it, if he's not gonna do it, then don't tell him not to come in here. You know, it's like, well, what do you expect the guy to kiss your ass as well? And it's like, you know, you put up, and I don't know if he didn't just pick a fight with the guy, but he just like, you gave him an attitude. It's like well, who the fuck you think you are? You know, it's like, you come in and work, you do your work. It's like, what jobs you had before that you, like, you know, you're just not gonna do it, and, you know, you give people like an attitude on your first day. Wow, man, you're like, you know, I was just shocked by that. You know, I'm not the guy that just bends over and just, you know, gets put down all the time, but it's like, you come to work, you gotta come to work. You come correct or don't come at all. You know, and it was just so annoying. He would do that all the time. You know, and I just got to the point where it's like, it wasn't fucking cute. It just, you know, it became like, he just started aggravating me with his laziness and his, you know, with his shortcuts and all of that. But I remember that one store right here. Anyway, I am going to Lyndhurst, so I am going 21. Big river right here. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go swimming. Don't be a wanker. Jump in there. Mommy will know. You put on YouTube, be famous, like we told you. They did it, but it's okay. Oh my god. Yeah, this is Belleville in North Arlington. Route 7, we had a couple stores here. It was just a quiet route, this place. This is one of the places that it has the Saturalis, and not so much Saturalis, but there's one store, it was a pizza place, and it was in Sopranos. It was in opening credits. You know, it's right here. Belleville, North Arlington. Yeah, I'm not gonna take Route 7, I believe. I'm just gonna go, let me see, should I go to Route 3 like the old days? You know what, let me go right here. I want to see this drawbridge again. And yeah, this would aggravate you when you get there and you're like, all right, here we go. I want to get this stop. And it's like, you know, the thing would just, it would open up. It was like, fuck. Like, why did I have to catch it? You know, but actually, was it this one? Yeah, I think it was. There's the diner, Arlington Diner. Yeah, this was like, this happened to be a cool route, unless just people, usually I would do this Friday, so it was like the last day of the week, you know, and it was like, it would just, whoop, gotta watch a guy, talking to your buddy, take it easy out there. They're cute. No, they are. And, what was I saying here? Yeah, it was just an easy day Friday, except, yeah, I would have like 300-400 cases, you know, except it was just, you know, here. So it was like I had all the stores in one area. So a lot of times, even I had like 300 cases or something, I would get done like 1-2 p.m. or something like that. Not always, but it would just, sometimes even earlier, you know. It's like, it would just became like this one store. It was in Clifton. They took like 200 cases of beer. And it was literally, I mean, even with a helper, it was like 45 minutes to an hour or something like that. We knocked it out. By myself, I did it once fast too. I showed the orange over there. It's like, yeah, I had 200 cases, but you know what? It's gonna save me like maybe 15-20 minutes if I have a helper, or maybe even 30 minutes. I knocked it out like, I think I did 2 trips that day, or something like that. And it's like I finished before the first trip. I finished before lunch or something like that. It was right around lunchtime, and he was just like, you know, he was shocked that I did it by myself, or I did it in that time. But I told him, it was like, I didn't have to drive far with like, you know, X amount of cases. Like, the amount of times it takes me to walk in and out, it's shorter than, let's say I drive like 70, 80, 120 miles, 2 hours, and I gotta go, and even it's like 40, 60 miles, but then I gotta go to the store 10 miles here, 50 miles that way. You gotta stop, get out. It's the mileage and the time that takes a lot of energy, And he was just like surprised I calculated that in my mind. It was like, and I told him, it was like, I could do this every day. Just, when you send me out by myself, it doesn't even matter. I could go alone. Just, I just want to be compensated for it. And it's like, give me a couple of dollars extra, a couple grand a year extra. You don't even hire a helper or two when I start doing that. Definitely one, And, people probably complain because somebody's gonna go, and what are we gonna do in Christmas? And there's all these excuses. Well, you don't want to you want to save like 20, 25, or 30 grand a year. That's not my problem. That's the company's problem. So it just became this thing where it was apparent I should just let it go, even though I proved them I was right and I could do it, because I started doing that in the beginning when I started working there. It was just about the driving versus I could have 300 cases go 200 miles. Obviously, it's like easier if I have 400 cases, even though I'm by myself, and I go only 20 miles. And just when I came back, he just had this face he was kind of angry or just agitated with me. It's like, you took the bat. It wasn't even a bat. Just, I was like, I showed you I could do it. It's like, well, it's like, I kissed my ass, but he just tried to, he just didn't say too much about it. He never brought that up. He just said the youngins, they're so young, they got so much energy. They would finish at 1, 2 o'clock. They had to work at 3 or 4. They would complain and whine about it. It was just another form of not just laziness, but just, they were just spoiled with, you would baby them, and it was just like this buddy relationship. To the point where just, we would always talk about it. Stefan always brought up, Yaraka, he would already go home right here. He would call for Uber or something like that, or, he would tell Daniela to Daniel, there's the domu już. And it just became this kind of old, it was just like the old joke. I just didn't want to go there anymore. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like 3 months, going to 3 months with the same shit, Stefan, I know, but it's just boring. You're right. Just to the point where I just, I was like, yeah, he got bored of that. But here I am, running my mouth, and I think I passed either Route 4 to take me to Route 7 or something like that. I forgot all these routes. I think here is the Volkswagen dealer where it was like 9, 10 in the morning, and me and Danny over there, we had to go with Janusha's car that he bought from Beata. It was just, it's like, it didn't pop into 3rd gear, like didn't want to go to 4th gear, something like that. Every morning we spent like 2 hours here, and then actually, I don't know if we had to come, then we had to come back to pick it up, and it was like, he gave him like 2 6-packs. Oh, here it is, the Volkswagen dealer. Because he bought a Touareg. He gave this guy 2 cases, so 24 beers of the Żywiec 6-packs. And it was like, it was the good ones, I think. The good ones that, didn't smell. And the guy was like, I don't even care. It's like, thank you, but whatever, man. I mean, he's like, beer is beer, but whatever, man. That was like his tip or something like that, And it was just, I didn't say anything, but it's like, dude, like, you didn't pay for it? It's like, what, you gonna write it off that it broke on the route and shit? You gonna blame it on somebody, on me or something like that? It's like, well, what are you doing with that? There's a whole story with that, how, like, let's say, like, you broke, beer got broken on the route, you're supposed to, broken on the route, and you're not supposed to say broke on the warehouse, because they're running out of excuses or something like that. And every time a beer broke, I would just write it off, but it was like, all right, so we'll replace it, bring it back. Just that there's people that would just, I don't know, I don't remember, you could do so many things with that, but it became apparent, it's like, don't trade them or something like that, because we have to say broke in the warehouse. When I was like, well, why don't I just trade the beer right there when I have it, so he got a fresh one, and I'll just write an invoice, it was broken on the route, and then it's like, people take beer all the time, and this and that, and you're like, well, what do you say, broke in the warehouse or on the route? I didn't even get into that, but it was just like, I didn't even care, just like, I want to be at work, I want to go home, not writing his errands about, fixing the car for, like, this lady over there that, sold him a lemon, basically, after, like, a couple of drives, like, the transmission was failing. And it was just like, I was just get point of agitated. I just didn't want to be there, you know. And I think that same week, like, he told me to get in my car and buy him a bumper or something to Jersey City, and I was like, fuck, dude, like, I gotta pay for Turnpike, this and that, which is like so fucking annoying. And that's not even these headaches. I'm just so aggravated by certain headaches. I was like, I gotta fucking quit. Like, you know what, fuck that. Fuck unemployment. I wasn't even thinking that. I'm just gonna say I fucking quit. I had enough of this shit. And after that, I just started thinking, I gotta go. Even if I don't go to the right company, I could care less. I'm not going to another company that's just like that. Now, those people having jokes, oh, you should go to the crappier company. Haha, Lucas, so you'll be angrier. You know, like the guy from Pied Pipers, the biggest fucking clown and, you know, coward I ever met. But it became like it didn't even matter anymore. I just had to leave that fucking place, you know? It's like, I'm gonna spend money for like running errands on you, and then who knows what else you're gonna do to me. You're gonna take money out of my bank account or something like that. You know, absolute fucking thieves. And it was so classless of them. The amount of laziness that were there, and just the arrogance, and like, you know, homosexuality also. You know, it was apparent. I was exhausted from all of that, you know? Like, I'm not into any of that stuff. You guys are, man. But, you know, your personal life is personal life. Just, you know, handle your personal life, you know, on the side by yourself, you know? I came here to work. I didn't come here to, like, you know, run your errands or, like, you know, you be into my personal life. You know, for like years with the same nonsense, you know? It was just so childlike and juvenile to the point of workplace harassment, this and the other thing. You know, maybe I could have called the Better Business Bureau, you know, reported that whole company, you know, but I was like, geez, it's like, I don't even want to give them trouble. Even with their, whether it was true or not true, their over-expired beer they were selling, all the other stuff, like people having certificates for forklift driving, you know. I still don't know to this day. I'm supposed to drive the Freightliner truck because people told me it's a Class B, CDL Class B. But it was a 16-footer, so I guess it only applies to 26-footers. I don't even care anymore. At least, you know, it was just certain things didn't work in that truck. You know, it stalled on me on the turnpike. So it's like, what's the point? I mean, this guy doesn't give a damn. You know. But yeah, this is North Arlington, and I am gonna stop recording because I gotta take care of something. I'll take a picture. Oh, musical store. Maybe one day. Yes, sir. And I did stop here at the bakery. They did have some delicious bread, but bakery's a bakery. They're always good. Wendy's. How are you? She's a chiquilla. Let's not call her names. Not everyone's perfect. But yeah, I gotta pick something up. So eventually it's gonna be a series or one video with series of events that I'm collecting, and I'll talk about it. Sayonara. Peace till tomorrow.